This week on Heroes, Made in the USA. In 1976, he became the world's best athlete. Now, decathlon champion Bruce Jenner wants to become the world's best car racer. With her team of dogs, Susan Butcher covered the more than 1,100 miles from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska in 11 days, making her only the second person to win the Iditarod dog sled race more than once. The Archbishop said no, but the Pope said yes to Chicago's Father George Clemens adopting 3 orphan teenagers.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. Welcome to Heroes Made in the USA. While the main purpose of this show is to hold heroes out to the public for the admiration and respect they deserve, we also want to explore the complexity of what makes a hero tick. What is it that pushes them above and beyond the call of duty? Take Bruce Jenner, for example. What makes a young man strive so hard to become the world's greatest athlete?
Racing cars is the newest challenge for the athlete who won the Olympic gold in '76 and the hearts of America.
Jenner makes his run to the bar. He's over it.
Winning the gold was a great athletic victory for me. All it takes is a tremendous amount of hard work, of dedication, of sort of finding your niche, and then going for it, putting it all on the line, dedicating your life to something.
I put in 12 years of training getting ready for that day, and downed a lot of Wheaties.
But America's Olympic hero had been quietly waging a tougher competition than even the Olympics. For his entire life, Jenner has battled with a learning disability.
The greatest obstacle I've ever had to overcome is dealing with being dyslexic. There was never one time in my life when all of a sudden I realized I was dyslexic. It's something I was born with. I had from day one. I flunked 2nd grade. I had no interest in school at a young age because the simple process of reading was very, very difficult for me.
Dyslexia is a neurological problem that inhibits development of the reading and writing process, often making words and letters appear backwards. Bruce recently spent time at the Landmark School in Los Angeles. It's a school for intelligent kids with moderate to severe learning disabilities who have had trouble in a regular classroom environment.
After, I was told that I was dyslexic, I had to get myself to understand what dyslexic was, and not that I was stupid.
I had such a poor image of myself. I mean, I just thought I was going to be a failure in life, and that I'm this little dummy, and I'm not going to make it. I mean, I would go to school, and I would sit in the back and fall asleep. I mean, I was so afraid that they were going to have me read in front of the class, because I couldn't do it.
Not too long ago, Bruce was one of 6 extraordinary people to receive from the Lab School in Washington the first Outstanding Disabled Achiever Award. The Lab School, like the Landmark School, is for kids and adults who suffer from learning disabilities. But the Lab School is special in that it teaches academics through the arts. 2 of the honorees with Bruce were Cher and Tom Cruise. Both very successful in life, both very unsuccessful academically because they too are dyslexic.
The teacher, I remember, was very upset with me because my Z's were always backwards and my C's and D's, I didn't know the difference between a small b and a, small d.
I always knew something was wrong because I was very intelligent and I was failing in almost all my subjects. And what I did
Cher,
is I left school.
Tom Cruise, and Bruce are all role models for kids battling the same problems that they have learned to live with.
When I was younger, I never knew anybody who had the same problem, the same fears of reading in front of the class, whatever it may be. And I think it might have helped if I would have saw somebody that I really looked up to, and they had the exact same problems that I had.
Montreal, 1976. It's been more than 10 years, but it seems like just yesterday.
Bruce has turned his problem into an asset, earning his living reading, like here doing a radio commercial.
I'm still dyslexic, still have the problem, but I can deal with it much better. I learned to memorize very quickly. I know how to memorize sentence structures. I can read something 2 or 3 times and pretty much have it down pat.
Today, Bruce reads in front of millions as a correspondent for both ABC and NBC.
When you're in front of camera reading a teleprompter, that to me is one of the biggest thrills of my life. When I was in school, I couldn't read in front of the class, and now you're getting out in front of millions of people on a live telecast and reading all this copy.
Bruce has always met challenges head-on. His most recent competition is on the racetrack. He drives number 33, a Ford Mustang, on the GTO GTU circuit.
I sort of fell into car racing. I've been racing my whole life. Used to do it with my feet, and I thought at my age it's sort of time to strap my gluteals down into a seat and at least the car do some of the work. But I've always enjoyed a good race, and I've always enjoyed competition.
In his spare time, Bruce is also the track and field coach for another group of disabled kids, the Special Olympians. He invited some of them to a race recently in Monterey, California, and introduced them to fellow racer, actor Paul Newman.
Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
You know, I get such a big thrill out of taking the kids, you know, Special Olympians to the races. To have the kids come, to be able to spend an hour or two, whatever it is, taking them around, showing them the different drivers, the different cars, and really let them have a good day.
I gotta go race this thing. Do we have any last-minute instructions?
Good luck.
Good luck. All right. Do I get a big hug from everybody before I get in? Okay, here we go. Big.
Now I look back on being dyslexic, and to me, it was an asset. It was something I think helped me grow to the person that I am today. And anytime you have to overcome adversity, it seems like you come out of it a little bit stronger.
Coming up next on Heroes Made in the USA, Susan Butcher mushes her way to a second Iditarod victory, and Father George Clemens becomes a father of another kind.
What could possess anyone to travel across 1,100 miles of Alaskan snow and brave freezing temperatures for 11 days and nights with only a team of dogs for company? In 1925, the first person blazed that trail to deliver diphtheria serum to the town of Nome, Alaska. But last year, and again this year, Susan Butcher did it just because she could.
It's 1987, the first Saturday in March. 63 mushers are answering the call of the Iditarod. The defending champion, Susan Butcher, will be the first out of Anchorage, and she's planning to be the first in Nome to collect the $50,000 first prize. Named for an abandoned gold rush town midway along the route, the Iditarod is much more than a race. It's a journey through 1,100 miles of Alaska's most rugged terrain.
Every other year, about a week before the race, I start having feelings of, I wish I wasn't going, you know. I mean, just all the hubbub and stuff. I've never felt that this year. I've never had a moment of, oh dear, what am I doing? No, I've been looking forward to it all year. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Susan spends the entire year training for the race. When not competing, she and her husband run a kennel. The fastest dogs from the kennel make up her Iditarod team. This year's contest was billed as the Race of Champions, with special emphasis on the rivalry between Susan Butcher and 4-time Iditarod champion Rick Swenson.
There's too many good teams now to just do it on just strictly dogs alone. You gotta have equal dogs, and then you gotta have either some good luck or no bad luck.
Hours before the first mushers arrive at the Squitna checkpoint, the women of the town rehearse their traditional welcome. Susan Butcher is the second to arrive. She ran into trouble a mile back when one of her lead dogs, Jackie, died suddenly. Jackie, the dark dog in the lead, was to have played an important role in Butcher's race strategy. In January, she had trained Jackie in the lead position with a practice run between White Mountain and Nome.
She led me out of Anchorage, and she was in swing the whole way and just doing great. And then it wasn't a mile from here. She just tipped over. And, you know, I was up there in seconds, and she was gone, and I gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, did nothing.
The first teams to distance the 150 miles to Squitna are setting a demanding pace. The teams in the lead are known as Rabbits for their speed.
There's just so many good teams in the race this year that it's going to be the good teams being the Rabbits this year. So I think it's going to be fast all the way unless we run into some weather.
Just like it takes a special breed of dog to run the Iditarod, it also takes a special driver. In this race, you'll find mushers with very different personalities, but a common love for dogs, the wilds of Alaska, and this last great race.
It's so hard to talk to people that have no idea even of the concept of mushing, because I think to start off you have to understand that mushing is an enjoyable thing. And I think their impression is that it's cold and it's tiring, and why would anybody want to stand on the back of a sled? And so I think that's the biggest concept I try to get across, is that it's an incredibly enjoyable sport. and that it's fun, and that you aren't always freezing cold and miserable. I think I'll just tell them how beautiful the country is that we live in.
The Iditarod Trail reaches its highest point at Rainy Pass, 3,200 feet above sea level. In less than 20 miles, the trail rises 2,000 feet before descending into the interior. This is among the most scenic stretches of the Iditarod, but the front runners all pass through here at night to avoid the heat of the day.
You gotta watch your competitors, and then you just gotta go for it. And, you know, I feel I came here with a very strong team. I haven't got to see all my competitors, but the ones I have seen, I'm faster than.
Midway through the race, Susan Butcher is on the trail from Iditarod to Shagaluk. Her team is looking strong. Butcher's in the number 3 position, right where she wants to be. And right where he wants to be is Rick Swenson, trailing Butcher where he can watch her team and keep her wondering about his. As the defending champion, Susan has something to prove. She wants a second title. On the ice of the Northern Sound, she's moving closer to that goal, and on day 10, there is only one man who can beat her, Rick Swenson. Only 100 miles from the finish, if she makes a mistake, the race is his. After 1,080 miles on the trail, Susan has taken the lead at White Mountain. She is 17 minutes ahead of Rick Swenson.
If the better team is behind, 17 minutes is not enough. If the better team's in front, then 17 minutes is plenty. So we'll find that out tomorrow.
The next morning, on the 12th day of her journey, Susan arrived in Nome to win her second Iditarod championship.
Here comes Susan Butcher. It's 11 days, 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 13 seconds.
Susan Butcher chopped 13 hours off the record she already held, winning the $50,000 purse. Her lead dogs, Maddie and Granite, won the roses.
Iditarod is 2 weeks of the year. I run Iditarod so that I can live the lifestyle that I do the other rest of the year, which is to live out in the bush and mush dogs.
Coming up next on Heroes Made in the USA, father and dad George Clemens in Chicago, and hometown hero Rita Locket.
When a man decides to become a Catholic priest, he makes a choice not to marry or have children. One Chicago priest, however, has broken new ground by being granted permission to adopt children. His efforts give a whole new meaning to his title of Father Clemens.
This is the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. Happy are those who are called to his supper.
Father George Clemens has been pastor at Holy Angels Church on Chicago's South Side nearly 20 years. What's unique about Father Clemens is that he's not only father to his parishioners and students at Holy Angels School, but he's also the adoptive father of 3 teenage boys that were in danger of remaining parentless because of their age. Teenage adoption is rare.
Everybody, all of us.
Father Clemens also founded the One Church, One Child organization, which simply asks a member of each church in black communities across the country to adopt one child. When his own parishioners appeared hesitant, he announced his own plans to adopt a son.
The announcement did make the media, and so the next morning I did get a call from the Cardinal Archbishop telling me that he was letting me know that there will be no adoption. Priests do not adopt. It's against everything in canon law and all that stuff. And I said, okay, I won't. And then that afternoon, the call from L'Osservatore Romano, the official Vatican newspaper. The correspondent said that Holy Father had heard the news. He was very pleased. They wanted to get more reaction from me.
With blessings from the Pope, the groundwork was laid for Father Clemens' journey into single male parenthood.
I went in rather arrogantly, because I had been around all these children all these years in my priesthood, and I just knew that would just be a piece of cake. You know, I got 1,300 kids in my own school. This won't be any problem. Little did I know.
In the rectory, the only thing I can say about it is it's always too quiet for me, you know, it's always quiet, you know. But it's not that many priests in the house, but it's quiet, you know, and it's not the normal stuff that goes on in a regular house, you know, like, you know, we sit down to dinner, it's not, we don't do stuff like that, you know, we might go out to dinner or something, but as far as, you know, the normal things people might do in their homes, you know, we don't do it.
Well, it's sort of like you almost had to have this, goody two-shoes image, and, you know, it was kind of hard for me at first. But as I got older and, you know, learned a few things, you know, it got very easy. It was no problem at all.
You just have to know what you do and what you say in public, because people are looking up to you. They say, that go Father Clemens' son. And if you say something obscene or you do something that, you know, you shouldn't do, they're always going to, you know, go back to you and say, this is Father Clemens' son. It's supposed to be a certain example. So it has that pressure on you that you have to be at your best every time.
Part of my expectation is that they would have a double identity. When they come in here, they are to be respectful and courteous and all that. When they go out there, if they are respectful and courteous, they will get their posterior kicked in. So they have to just lead a double life.
So what she did was she said she was going to pick everything for all of us to wear.
When I got Joey, it was very difficult for me to get him to open up. Friday was open from the very beginning. He's the one that's from Nigeria, and there was never any problem communicating with him. The youngest, he likes to play games. You take my orange juice out of my refrigerator?
Yes.
Why didn't you ask me?
I'm sorry.
No, that don't cut it. That does not cut it.
Father Clemens has also attracted the attention of Hollywood. His life is the subject of an upcoming television movie starring Malcolm Jamal Warner of The Cosby Show, and in the starring role of Father Clemens, Oscar-winning actor Louganis, himself an adoptive parent.
We're the same in a sense because we have the same desire as far as saving children. Saving children from the streets and from a negative future to a positive one.
During filming, the cast and crew were welcomed to Chicago by Mayor Harold Washington.
This is Father Clemens.
Well, my two heroes.
This is Cardinal Cody.
Cardinal Cody. I was just looking at you last night.
We are in 27 states. Tomorrow I go to California to get it started out there, and they attribute 7,000 adoptions nationally to our organization. It's been in existence 5 years. So One Church, One Child is really on the map, and Illinois is where it really has had its greatest impact. And so I just want to say that we're on the way. And anybody in here who would like to adopt, I got a lot of kids.
Well, thank you. You made a tremendous impact, Father, and thank you very much. You know, the whole world is entitled to a piece of you, but they can't have you. You're going to stay here. I'll keep you here. Thank you.
There's no need for Chicago's Mayor Washington to worry. Father Clemens' main love will always remain the children of Chicago's South Side and the 3 teenagers that call him not father, but dad.
I see myself as the pastor of a South Side ghetto parish in Chicago who is trying to make this community make sense.
Ward 5A at San Francisco Hospital is the AIDS ward, a somber place, except on Sunday mornings.
Everybody ready? Where is the African?
Her name is Rita Locket, and for the past 2 years, she's taken the ward by storm. Each week, she provides a Sunday brunch for patients, family, and staff at San Francisco Hospital. The weekend feasts began when Rita planned a hospital party for a friend who had AIDS. She decided to continue the weekly brunch for all of the patients, even after she lost her friend to the disease.
Hi, Steve. Are you awake?
Hi.
It's Rita Locket.
Yes, it's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
It makes me feel good that I can give them hope. We have to have hope, because that's all we have left.
Rita Locket, this week's hometown hero.
Whether it's to prove something to themselves, experience the thrill of victory, or just to share their love, heroes make America great.